Quinn exiting, there are no black women coaches currently in the WNBA. Everybody trying to stop on each other. It's reckless for Matt to dismiss it as a cash grab. They're Welcome to the No Bull Podcast, or welcome back to the No Bull Podcast. I am your host, Brianna Bull, and I am bringing you everything basketball. Because if you know bull, you know ball. Let's get into it. All right, it's a fabulous Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great start to your week. I'm excited to be producing this solo show today, covering everything basketball, from WNBA to NBA to even fantasy basketball. So I'm super excited. Hopefully you stay to the end and see what this fantasy basketball series is talking about, because I will be launching it today. Today's the first day one of the fantasy basketball series. So I'm excited. But you see on the screen here, we have a lovely docket. Let me just check the chat, say my hellos to my faithfuls. What's up, Tulip? We got Tulip in the chat. Randy Mayo in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, first things first is the WNBA power rankings. And ESPN got a little ahead of themselves here. I mean, the season just wrapped up. I don't even think the losing team is back from Cancun yet. And they're already dropping the 2026 power rankings for the top 13 teams going into next year. Now, mind you, one of the things I found interesting about this is they did not include the two new additions. As you all know, it will be 15 teams, or if you don't know, there will be 15 teams in the 2026 WNBA season, but they are not included in these power rankings, which I guess is only right, because if they were to include them, then they would probably have to give us a reason why. Like, why did you make them this ranking? You know, so they just ranked the 13 teams that played this past season. And I was not a fan of the rankings at all, but when am I ever a fan of ESPN rankings? But yeah, I wanted to get it right into that, and I will share my screen so that you can see the list with me, right? So first things first, again, make sure you drop a like if you haven't already. And I just want to make sure, does it look good? Chat, what's it looking like? Oh, wait, hold on. I had something. There we go. Okay, I don't like how that looks at all. Is there a way to change this? Hold on. There we go. All right. Okay, so first things first is the Chicago Sky. So they were ranked 13. They are anticipated to be at the bottom of the barrel again next year, which honestly makes a lot of sense because their star, Angel Reese, it's still up in the air whether she's going to return. She didn't even have her exit interview. So it's a high chance that Miss Angel will not be with them next year. And whether she is or she's not, no offense, the last 2 years have been a doozy, have been a dumpster dive. It has not been going well for the Chicago Sky. And they need a complete rebuild. I'm totally shocked that Tyler Marsh is still at the helm. But you know, that's neither here nor there. How do we I mean, them being at the bottom, it sounds about right to me. It sounds about right. So we don't have to spend too much time with this, but they are not really going to get anywhere. This is probably going to be Tyler Marsh's last year if he doesn't get it together. I'm shocked he's still there. And we're going to see. We're going to see where will Angel land? Where will Camilla going to stay? Probably. Ariel Atkins. There's a lot of people on the list here for them that could potentially be leaving the team. So the only person I think is guaranteed for next year is Courtney Vandersloot. I'm being shady. Okay, so number 12 are the Dallas Wings. Now I'm like looking at this list and I'm like, Dallas Wings at 12? Now, mind you, they've had a lot of injuries as well. Let me see if I can get myself back here and how that would look. There we go. They've had a ton of injuries as well. So, having the Dallas Wings sit at 12, I think that's a little too low. They just fired their coach. They fired Nick. His name Nick, right? I think so. They got him out of there. They got the number one, the rookie of the year, first team WNBA all team, and an all-star. Paige Becker's on their team. They had a lot of injuries, like they lost JJ Quinierly, they lost Yi LaRue, they lost some other people, and then we're not even sure where Arike is going to be at. So I think, but they do have a first round draft pick. And so, and it's like first round, first pick, something like that. They positioned themselves well to acquire young talent. So I'm curious to see who they're going to put to develop all these players and where does this organization go from here with building around Paige. That's a gem that they have on their team. So we'll see how that goes. Who knows? Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, so we have and again, this is too low. I at least got them being top 10 next year. So, Washington Mystics at 11. I don't like this because this team has chemistry. And although they did not make it to the playoffs, they had a mini window of opportunity to make it into the playoffs. I think that this team is special. It's really special. They're gonna have Sonia Citron, Kiki Erafin, Sug Sutton, Jade Melbourne, Shakira Austin. I mean, I'm missing people coming off the bench too. I think they have chemistry. When I seen them in person, I was like, oh my gosh, I love their chemistry. And I'm excited for the Washington Mystics. I don't even see them being this low next year. I can see them possibly getting top 10, especially with their all-star. They have all-stars on their team who are young. So imagine what another year under their belt is going to be. And it looks like right now it says Washington has 3 2026 first-round picks, including one in the lottery. So in this rebuild, I would not sleep on them, especially if they have a solid coach leading them. It's pretty dope. Okay, so let's keep going. Connecticut Sun sitting at 10. I won't spend too much time with them. Seattle Storm at 9. I think they're a little too high. I mean, they might end up doing really well because they still got NECA, still got Skylar, Gabby, Erica Wheeler, Brittany Sykes. I don't know too much about everybody's contract and where they sit. However, I do know they got a new coach, Noelle Quinn. She was the last female Black coach in the WNBA currently. And so she was not asked back as their coach. So I can't wait to see the Storm culture turn around because we all saw it take a tank during the regular season. And I'm very curious with this 23-21 record losing in the first round, what that could mean for them now that they got Brittany Sykes there. And she's a little bit younger, but NECA, Skylar, Brittany Sykes, is that your new big three? So I'm excited to see. I still think NECA has a lot left to give, and I still think Skylar got a lot left to give. And maybe it will be a culture thing. Maybe it will be a coach thing. But Dominique Malonga, ton of potential. I would love to see her on a different team, though. But for right now, she's on the Storm team. And just naming off these pieces, they have so much potential. So, hopefully, again, their leadership gives them a new perspective. I'm not going to sleep on the Storm just because they had a terrible end of this season. I think 9 is a little low. But, again, it's based on the coach. We'll see how they rebuild and what changes could come there. At number 8 was the Los Angeles Sparks. And I like this because if you got them at number 8 and there's 15 teams, so next year is 15 teams. So will it still be the top 8 teams that go, or will it be top 9? Will another playoff spot be added? Will 2 be added because it's 15 teams? That I don't know. I would love to look more into that. However, I was thinking to myself, regardless, if these LA Sparks remain at 8, they're locking in for playoffs. And I just hope that whoever is their defensive coach gets these women together. Please hire me. I was defensive player of the year in college. Hire me. I will help y'all defense out. Something's got to give because this team definitely is talented. Very, very good. They're a very, very good team. I'm so excited to see the continuity of this team. I don't anticipate them breaking up that team. And just to remind y'all, there's Kelsey Plum, Rakia Jackson. I'm just getting started. Okay. Azare Stevens, De'Erica Amby, Ray Burrell, Cameron Brink. Shorty, what's her name? She got the blonde hair. Julie Alaman. That's what it is. Julie Alaman. That's 8. It's gonna be a good team. Okay, number 7, Golden State Valkyrie. I think they got the coach of the year. The ladies obviously are resilient. Obviously, Kayla Thornton's gonna come back at some point. Veronica Burton, most improved player. Come on now. Number 7. I think y'all selling Golden State Valkyries a little short there. Because I think this team is gonna be nasty. Tiffany Hayes is gonna come back better. And then tall shorty, Janelle Saloon. Yo, Janelle is so underrated. She's tall, pretty much unguardable at the guard. If you got a small guard, like it's a mismatch for teams who have smaller guards because she has a build of like a small forward, but she's out there moving like a shooting guard. She's gonna be nasty next year. Do not sleep on Janelle or just go to State Valkyrie team. And Kate Martin, just get your defense up, Whoopi. Get your defense up, Whoopi. I got faith in your shot. Okay. Number 6, New York Liberty. Wow. Y'all think I was kind of shocked by this to see New York Liberty at number 6, but I was shocked, but not too shocked considering they lost Sandy, and then how disappointing that they continue to be in the playoffs or in big moments. This season was for sure disappointing overall. And again, continuity. If they do get a new coach and John Quell is still there, I pray, Lord, please play. They need to. John Quell has more value than what they were using her for. And I'm sorry, but get Natasha Cloud out of there. I'm sorry, Natasha. I appreciate you, but I want more for this New York Liberty team. And in order for that to happen, either someone talks to you and you make adjustments offensively, or you got to go because you dribble the air out the ball and everything on that team looks forced to have so many good pieces. Also, the depth. So New York Liberty, if they don't get a better bench, they're going to be lower. They're going to be sitting lower. At number 6, that was way too high, in my opinion. But, they got Stewie and Sabrina, so I kind of understand. And John Quell, I understand, but I don't understand. All right? And then this brings me to my lower third question of, does the Indiana Fever deserve a higher rank? They are at number 5. Now, we know that Caitlin Clark is possibly going to be coming back tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. Tomorrow. Okay, no. She could be coming back next season. So if Cameron Brink comes back next season, then if Caitlin Clark comes back next season and they still keep Kelsey Mitchell, because Kelsey Mitchell's on the free agency, I think they might lose Lexi Hall. I really do. And then I'm not sure about Sophie, with her season and the injury, how quick she'll come back. They might lose her too. Something's telling me that this team is going to get broken up and we're not going to see the same continuity. Something else is also telling me that this team won't be built around Caitlin. And that honestly could put them up higher. But the key to this is retaining Kelsey Mitchell. And I dropped a video about Kelsey Mitchell and what the GM said about prioritizing keeping her there and how she's the core. And I got a lot of feedback about my inaccuracies and my thoughts about the team and how much they value Kelsey and how much they love her. Okay, let's see it. Let's see if y'all are still saying the same thing when Caitlyn come back. And let's really see. They're at, like I said, number 5 right now in this power ranking. They experienced so much success without her. So next year, I'm very curious to see, are y'all still gonna have Kelsey Mitchell? I think Kelsey Mitchell deserves better. And I want her to be free from this team. And it's not because I don't think that the Indiana treat her poorly or that their fans don't love her. It's not the narrative I'm saying. What I'm saying is she's their darling when Caitlyn's not on the team. But then when Caitlyn gets back on the team, it's kind of like, all right, we got to make everything about Caitlyn again. We got to build this offense around Caitlyn. Do you really think that Stephanie White would still have a job if Caitlin Clark didn't get hurt and they had an offense that was built around her like it was at the beginning of the season and they kept doing that and then they lost? Do you think Stephanie would still have a job? They would probably blame it on her. The point I'm trying to make, Caitlyn getting hurt was probably the best thing that could have happened to Stephanie and the team. And so next year with them getting ranked 5, I think that's a little too high. But I digress. I'm curious to see when Caitlin Clark. I want to know where Kelsey Mitchell's gonna land, and I'm curious to see what Caitlin Clark comes back. And maybe what I'm hoping is that Caitlin Clark looked at what all that was going on with the team and realized that she needs to make some changes. It's necessary. I'm also curious, since they had hardship contracts, I don't think they're going to keep Shea Petty, but I do believe they're going to keep and hold on to Odyssey Sims, especially when we don't have a timeline for Ari McDonald or Sydney Colson. But if they don't keep Odyssey and Caitlyn comes back, that goes to prove my point even further, that they rely really heavily on Caitlyn and they have her in a position that I don't think she's going to be successful in, not on this team. And the team isn't going to benefit from her being in the position that she is as a point guard. I want to see her move to a shooting guard. Keep Odyssey at the 1. Now, you risk going really small doing that, and Caitlyn's a risk on defense. So there's just like a lot of different moving pieces here. We'll see. We'll see about the Indiana Fever. I'm not really too confident or sure that they are going to keep Kelsey Mitchell. But, you know, I saw some people in the comments say Kelsey Mitchell loves Stephanie White and all this other stuff, and she's blah, blah, blah. Like, so what? So what? What if she gets offered from a team and she like, you know? She was on free agency the year before and she gave them another chance, but just for 1 year. Does that sound like someone who wants to stay for a long time? Do you think she wants to keep? To me, she might not say it out loud, but there's no way that she feels valued in Indiana when Caitlyn's on the court. There's no way she feels the love and support. Not when they're building an offense around Caitlyn to only be successful. There's just no way. All that she did this year, she literally played till her knees were numb. Her legs could not move anymore. So I think Kelsey is their number 1. But we're going to see how Indiana, the organization, the coaches all treat Caitlyn when she come back. Is Caitlyn going to be the number 1 or is it going to be Kelsey? Because if I'm Kelsey Mitchell, I love basketball a lot. That's cool. But if I'm the one who's actually holding us together day in and day out, but yet the glory is going to Caitlyn, I mean, I love basketball, but it kind of sucks when all the weight is put on you. It's kind of like if you have a manager who's not really doing their job, but you kind of do their job for them. And then when they're out on PTO, everything still gets done, but you don't get manager pay. You get your position pay. your manager sits on the high stake conversations. Your manager is looking like as if the team's being held together because of the manager, but it's really you. You're holding it together because if you were on PTO, would the team still be good? If Kelsey Mitchell was on PTO, would the Indiana Fever be sitting at number 5 right now? No. No, they would not. So Indiana Fever better hope they hold on to Kelsey Mitchell or they won't see the light of day of top 10. I guarantee it. There's no way. There's no way they're going to see top 10 if Kelsey Mitchell does not stay or if they make some changes with Caitlin. They need some reality wake-up calls in that organization. They live in La La Land if they think that next year Caitlin Clark's going to come back and they're going to be sitting at number 5. Okay. Well, what do y'all think? Does the Indiana Fever deserve a higher ranking? We'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to keep going up on the list too. So number 4. Let me show y'all where number 4 is if you haven't seen it already. This is where I was like, oh, wow. Minnesota Lynx is sitting at number 4. Are y'all shocked? They dominated the entire regular season. They did it again. They did it the year before. And ESPN disrespects them and giving them number 4. I mean, what I say is it disrespectful? I think it's disrespectful to put them in number 4, especially when they got Phoenix Mercury sitting at number 2. I don't care if the Phoenix Mercury made it to the finals. I don't know if Nate's even going to stay at the coach as a coach. Because what exposed them was Nate's coaching. I already kind of questioned their system to begin with. And a lot of my bias towards Phoenix Mercury was during like their peak times. I saw that their potential for sure. But with Nate at the helm, there's no way this Phoenix Mercury team is going to be number 2 overall next year. There's no way in hell. No. No. Absolutely not. And number 3, they got Atlanta Dream. That makes a lot of sense. Because if they have the continuity, oh my gosh, Jordan Canada can end up being just as good as Jackie Young, if not better. I see that potential in her. And I don't think it's Alicia Gray team. I think it's Ryan Howard's team. But even if it doesn't matter whose team it is, but Brianna Jones, she's only going to get better. Naz Hillman, 6th man of the year, she's only going to get better. So this Atlanta Dream team, if they keep the continuity, I like it. I ain't mad at it, and I like them sitting at number 2. And then not Phoenix Mercury. I like them sitting at number 3. Phoenix Mercury number 2 is crazy. If I'm changing this list, and I'm looking at this list, right? And I would love to hear y'all top 5. Top 5 power rankings overall. They got Las Vegas Aces at number 1. Continuity, can they do it again? I think anybody who has Asia Wilson on their team has a great shot at least finishing top 5. I don't know if they're going to be number 1 again next year in the regular season. You know who I really do like number 1 is this Atlanta Dream team. I really do. I think next year they're going to be even better. I really, really like that. And Carl Semesco, I mean, I don't really rock with him, but he's not awful. He's better than Nate. He's better than the Phoenix Mercury coach, you know? And so I definitely see this Atlanta Dream team being at least number 1. And then I'm going to give number 2. Call me crazy, but I think Golden State Valkyrie is a top 5 team next year. I really, really do. To go 23-21 in your inaugural season is insane. And they paved the way for other teams that might have inaugural seasons coming up to show the possibility that, hey, you can be an inaugural team and make it in the playoffs. But who knows? Those are probably really rare moments. That's why they talk about it not happening. But just because they made it happen this first year, I don't see any reason if they can sustain not have so many injuries and have their key players come back next year. I mean, I think it's cool to see Kayla Thornton, who was already a decent player, turn out to be a star of a team that's already really good. To me, that just shows the whole potential of the coaching system in general. So yeah, I see Golden State being a top 5 team. Phoenix Mercury? No. Put them all the way down the list. And I'm replacing them with the Golden State Valkyries. But I'm not putting Golden State number 2. My top 5, probably number 1, probably either Atlanta Dream or Minnesota. Between no, Minnesota probably could be 2 for me. Atlanta Dream number 1, number 2, and Minnesota can interchange. Number 3, definitely the Las Vegas Aces, possibly. Again, continuity. I think with Nalissa Smith just getting there, I think Chelsea Gray, all of them, they got a lot left in the tank. But who knows how they're gonna start their season, how they're gonna finish it? Who knows? But I still have them, yeah, top 5. I give them 4. Am I selling the title winners short? Maybe. That's just me. And then I don't have Indiana in top 5. No, I don't. Do I? You know what? I might be a little biased with this one, but I got the Los Angeles Sparks in my top 5, if not top 6. Yep, definitely. But I'm excited. Tulip said, Link's 4th, ESPN has lost their mind. They're out there cotton picking minds. For sure. I don't know if I should have said that online. I'm sorry. All right. What's up, Mel? Shout out to Mel from Mandel Sports. Said you're right. Kelsey is the driving force for that team. I would love to see obviously what contracts look like. I didn't dive into that, but their reasonings that they described on the ESPN list, they just look lazy making that list. And I don't want to give it too much credence or too much time, but I do appreciate y'all sharing your thoughts for everyone who has. And we're going to keep moving on to the next topic. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like. If you're digging the content and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe and drop your take. It's all about in my community, in this community. I just love hearing conversations, whether you agree or not. I want to hear your voice. We all got something to bring to the table, so share it and make sure you're kind, or we will block you. Other than that, if you know bull, you know ball. Let's keep going. So, NBA preseason. I just wanted to talk about some key things I noticed, who's been on top lately, who's at the bottom. I know that there's some games on tonight happening right now. Preseason is not that big of a deal, but it is already kind of giving us a sneak peek of what we possibly could anticipate will happen and how these players are vibing together before we kick off this regular season. And even it kind of shows where people's heads are at, considering some people are still looking at decline their player options, still on the trade block. There's still some people on waivers. And then we saw obviously the depth. I think especially if you're a fantasy, it's important to watch preseason because you can kind of pinpoint the depth of a team and how important it is to pay attention to the depth. And so I want to talk about some key games. One key game in particular was that Lakers versus Warriors game, because there's still a lot up in the air for both teams and what their legacies are going to look like, and what there's huge stars on either team that are still like, okay, what's this season going to look like for them as players? And are they even still contenders? Despite both teams in limbo, I'm going to call it limbo, they still had players in the top 10 rankings, and their teams were still even ranked in the top 10 overall, at least making it in play-in. And after watching this game, I'm like, I didn't see too much difference. And I think there's still a lot more better teams in the league than the Lakers and the Warriors. But Lakers did beat the Warriors 126 to 116. And I just thought that this game told us several things. For one, Austin Reeves. He might have been playing because he knows he's about to be traded off, or looks more appealing to other teams. That's my guess. I don't know if if there's even a place for him with now Luka there. Will they be using Austin Reeves in the same capacity that they've relied on him before? Or has his time with the Lakers done? I really want to know. But he is a gem. He scored 21 points in 22 minutes. And we see him do everything. And he doesn't let up either. He got like this endless battery. You know those Energizer bunnies with the pink and they just be beating the drum? To me, that's Austin Reeves. Now, is he a superstar of the team? Um, there's been times when Austin Reeves had the ball in his hand and I was not upset with it. I was like, you know what? This guy can actually make this shot. 100%. I wouldn't mind like if the ball and I wouldn't draw the play up for Austin Reeves, but the ball ended up in his hands as a coach. I'd be like, shoot that thing. I'd be like, let that thing go, Austin. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. But he was efficient and aggressive as always. He's consistent. That's what I respect about Austin Reeves. He's consistently him, and he continues to get better. And I love that. If the Lakers lose them, shout out to Austin Reeves. Free Austin Reeves from the Lakers. I just think he can contribute a lot more on a different team. Okay, so another notable honorable mention is Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton and how they played off of each other. I thought that Ayton, he filled in the spaces for them very nice. Obviously, they were lacking a big for so long, and DeAndre Ayton came over from the Portland Trailblazers. We already seen him his rookie year have a great season, but since being on the Portland Blazers, he has trended down. So now seeing him on this Lakers team in this capacity, maybe we're gonna see that energy we so missed from DeAndre Ayton. But I like the pace and the versatility of even Rui Hachimura, who again another solid player. And then as far as and again, we're talking about depth. We're not really talking about the stars and all this other stuff, but we're talking about the pieces that truly matter when it comes down to winners. These people that I'm naming right now, it really does matter having them on their team and how they show up. Maybe not so much in the regular season, but absolutely in the playoffs. People like for Golden State Warriors, Brandon Podajemski, another person that we should not be sleeping on. When Curry's out, when the team not really when Curry was out, Andrew Wiggins was gone. What's his name? Kuminga wasn't playing. Moses Moody just doing Moses Moody things. It was Brandon Podajemski that was low-key will hold it down for the team at times. To carry a legacy team like that on your back, he had 23 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and he shot 10 for 16. That's the kind of stuff you can expect from him. Maybe not so much when Curry's on the court, but we all know, when have we seen Curry play an entire season healthy? That's what I'm saying. So when we're watching these games, make sure you're paying attention to these players because they are important when the big stars go out. Butler too. Butler wasn't there. But we can't rely on just Brandon Podajemski. And that's what I wanted to make note on with the Warriors. Their depth was exposed. I mean, it's no surprise. But with Moses Moody down on injury, he's probably not going to start going. He has a calf issue. And we know calf strains, calf issues are touch and go. They can linger all year. And Moses isn't already like, he's Moses Moody. I mean, come on. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the Warriors will have to like make some sneaky finesses to make it in the play-ins this year. That's all I'm saying. But overall, in the first half, the Lakers had already built a strong lead, and they were shooting really well from the field, especially behind the arc. And despite the Warriors trying to come back in the third quarter, LA held them steady. So, but as far as, again, the Lakers, I like the balance that they have across the board. With Jackson Hayes still in the lineup, I think they looked confident shooting the three, but that doesn't say a lot in the beginning of the season because as we go, we start seeing adjustments being made. But for right now, I don't expect anything less from this Lakers team, especially the current state of this Lakers team. And then for the Warriors, I mean, they're being smart. They're being strategic. They played a lot of their young guys. But all the old heads they got, do they really have the gas in them to last an entire season? And if not, they're still missing a crucial piece here. Like, come on. It's just I don't know. I don't know what to make of that one. Okay. Moving on from that Lakers versus Warriors series, I wanted to talk about the Bucks because they're one of the only teams besides the Knicks that are 3-0. They're undefeated in the preseason. And what we've seen so far is Miles Turner shooting well, which we know how streaky Miles Turner could be, but he's shooting well for them. And the whole team overall is shooting well from the three for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, granted, they did play against the Bulls in this recent game, but they only managed to beat the Bulls 127 to 121. Kyle Kuzma came off the bench and he added 19 points on top of Miles Turner's other 19 points, which he got all from the three. And seeing Miles Turner in this capacity, we kind of saw a hint of it in the Pacers series in the playoffs, but because Siakam, I think once Siakam, because Miles Turner was in the paint a lot before Siakam got there. But then once Siakam got there, I saw his play change dramatically. And although Miles Turner consistently puts himself in foul trouble, he's literally just shooting threes. He's like a centered guard. It's the weirdest thing. Like, how do we all feel about that? Is that an advantage for teams on the mismatch where you have to have centers that come out of the paint and now you allow for a lot more in the paint action? Maybe, yeah, they were shooting three well, but with other centers having to come out to guard Miles, will that then lead to more in paint points, which is good for Giannis if he doesn't get traded? A lot of things up in the air. But, it makes me wonder if this is going to work better on this Bucks team than what it did for the Pacers. Because for the Pacers, it just looked like he was settling. Although this Pacers team scored at a high clip. That was their thing. It was like, we want to score. We want to outscore teams because we don't want to play defense. But I am starting to respect Miles Turner's game less and less the more I see him just shoot the three. But it's great that he's getting those shots up. But once people start making adjustments, it's like, I don't want you to be a one-trick pony, Miles Turner. You're going to get exposed. And then finally, I wanted to talk about this Knicks versus Minnesota preseason game, where, again, the Knicks remain unbeaten in the preseason, but not without a lot of faults. And one of the exposures I saw was the cracks in their offense. I mean, versus the Minnesota as a team, they shot 15 for 57. 57. Like, did Mike Brown just say, all right, guys, go out there and jack up as many threes? I want y'all to just get your arms loose. Like, what the hell? 57 shots and you only score 63 points? And y'all get paid millions of dollars? Okay. It's preseason. I better not see that in the regular season. Absolutely not. I will be appalled. I will come back to the stream and pull it up because there's no way. There's no way. I just saw cracks in their offense, and that's kind of as to be expected with this Knicks team. I'm just hoping that Mike Brown can find out a better way to play these guys without playing them to death and to get the most out of them where they don't have to settle. What's up, C Money 00007? You were definitely talking into the chat. I'll do your latest one. You said, how do I feel about Orlando? I love the Orlando Magic. I think they're going to make it into the play-in, and they might actually make it to the second round of playoffs this year, especially if we see more from Franz and Paolo. And I love Desmond Bane on the team. I think that was a great addition. And even Tyus Jones. What I noticed Orlando did well is, even though despite losing all their guards, like, I know that they're not huge difference makers, but they lost Caldwell Pope, Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris. Who was the other person? He's kind of similar to Jalen Suggs, but didn't play as much. But they lost like all of their backcourt, but they still managed to replenish it with guys like they always have a lot of people playing the same positions that are actually solid. So I'm excited for Orlando. They still have Jonathan Isaac. I think Martise Wagner is going to come back from his injury. And he was on the free agency, but they re-signed him for 1 more year. So that tells me they might could get 1 more year out of him before he leaves. So yeah, I'm really excited about this Orlando team, and hopefully they've gotten smarter and gotten more experience over the last two years that they fell short. Hopefully they at least make it the second round this year. Randy Mayo said, "My thoughts on the Bucks." Okay. Ugh. All right. So first of all, the Bucks made history because they signed all 3 Akatempo brothers. So Giannis's 2 other brothers are now on their team, and they're all signed. So that's pretty cool. On the same team. Apparently, that's the first time that's ever happened. So I want to start there with some history. That's cool. But as a team overall, and you know why I'm doing this, I'm gonna pull up the roster. But I know they got Gary Trent, right? Who else was on there? Okay, Cole Anthony. That's what I was talking about from Orlando. Cole Anthony. But so they got Giannis, Cole Anthony, Kyle, Kevin Porter Jr. Now, I like Kevin Porter Jr. as their starting point guard. Absolutely. I think when he was on the Clippers, he had a lot to offer. And although Norman Powell was their leading scorer and James Harden is their point, blah, 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 Kevin Porter Jr. showed us that he can score at will. He can penetrate, go downhill, and he can make plays. So I think having Kevin, and he can play a little defense. So Kevin Porter Jr. as their starting point guard, nice. I love it. I really like that, especially losing Damian Lillard. I mean, he's not no Damian Lillard, but any team is going to be successful with a scoring point guard similar to Kevin Porter Jr. I know he's a shooting guard, but I think he can end up being that point guard for them. They still have AJ Green as a shooter. You know, they got Amir Coffey too, who was playing from Clippers with Kevin. So I think there'll be some chemistry there. They still got the steroid juice monster Bobby Portis. So they lost Brooke Lopez, but Bobby Portis was having a better season before he even, did his performance enhancement drug scandal. I think he was having a better season than Brooke Lopez. Brooke Lopez was kind of looking a little rusty and old out there. So them losing, I think this team is now a little younger. It's fresher. And I'm excited. And they got Gary Harris. I'm excited to see what the rookie Mark Sears does. And then Taurean Prince. He's definitely going to bring the threes and the defense. I don't hate this. They got Jericho Sims. I can't wait to see how he's going to be at center. They got a couple. They got some sleepers on this team, and I'm not mad at it. Do I think they're gonna make it far? I mean, the fate of Giannis is still up in the air. I think this team could get shaken up and find themselves trending down for sure, especially if Giannis leaves. But overall, starting off in the regular season, I think they're gonna be good to watch. Yeah. C Money 007 said people are viewing Cleveland as the number 1 favorite in the East. Now, the thing about Cleveland that I respect is their continuity. That was one of the reasons I think they were number 1 in the East last year, is because they had the highest continuity out of everybody last year, right? Now they signed Lonzo Ball. They got rid of Karis LeVert. See, I haven't looked at rosters in a while, but they still have Jarrett Allen, who, by the way, in the power ranking top 50, they rated Jarrett Allen higher than Joel Embiid. Now, I love me some Jarrett Allen. Don't get me wrong, but ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm picking up Jarrett Allen over Joel Embiid. A healthy Joel Embiid? Let's be for real. I pick up Jarrett Allen as his backup center. There's no way. Okay, so they got Spider, Darius Garland, tough. Evan Mobley, who can get away with just chilling, doing what he can do. They still got Max Strus. Now they added Lonzo Ball. Okay, having Thomas Bryant as a center, I don't really like that, because Thomas Bryant was booty butt cheeks on Pacers, and he was kind of booty butt cheeks on the Heat. He had some moments, but to see him here on this Cleveland Pacers team, he got lucky. Like he lucked out. Okay, Killian Hayes, he's coming from Brooklyn and he's a point guard. And I like Killian. I think Killian is going to be good on this team. Oh, they also have Larry Nance Jr. I like that. Right. And then DeAndre Hunter. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This Cleveland team. Yeah. I think getting rid of Karis LeVert, he cool. But if you can have DeAndre Hunter next to you with Darius Garland, Spider, Miles Turner, and then Evan Mobley. I mean, not Miles Turner. I'm sorry. Evan Mobley and then Jared Allen. Shoo. I like that. Then you got D Wade. D Wade's not bad. He not great. But a third string, that's solid. Depth, guys. Depth is important. If you got Killian Hayes, Larry Nance Jr., Lonzo coming off the bench, I ain't mad at it. I'm mad at it all. And they got Sam Merrill. Now, losing Ty Jerome, you would think that would be a big hit, but I think, again, because they have DeAndre Hunter, that makes up for it. Ty Jerome just kind of came out as a breakout. They didn't have Max Strus for a while, and Darius Garland was hurt, so Ty Jerome got a chance to start, and now he's on the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think that was a huge, great take for the Memphis Grizzlies, who I think the Grizzlies are going to do way better than anyone can ever anticipate, in case anyone cares. But yeah, so far in the preseason, I'm really excited. The regular season starts Tuesday, October 21st, and I'm just looking forward to NBA basketball. Like, WNBA has been fun, all right? But I'll be honest about when I first started this channel, it was because of NBA. All right, I love me some NBA basketball. Can't wait. C-Money 007 said, mark my words, if Lonzo is healthy, he's taking that starting spot. Now, Lonzo on the Bulls, when they had Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Lonzo, they had Patrick Williams, LOL. And then who else did they have? Ayo Dasamuno for a second, but their fifth, Andre Drummond. I wasn't mad at that 5, man. I was not mad at it. Lonzo with Zach LaVine, it was cool for a quick little second. And Kobe, but all of them, they got hurt, and it was curtains. But yeah, okay, so let's keep going. We can keep this NBA talk going because I do want to talk about our beloved Russell Westbrook. He might not be your beloved, but he's my beloved. And what is crazy to me is, they had media day, and in 17 years, Russell Westbrook has missed media day for the first time and is not signed to a team. We're talking about a former MVP of the league. I want to play a clip from 7 p.m. Brooklyn. It's a podcast, and Carmel Anthony was on, and he was talking about Russell Westbrook, and they were kind of asking, do you think he's being blackballed? They asked him, do you think he's going to return to OKC? Like, what is the holdup, pretty much? Like, why is Russell Westbrook still sitting on waivers? That's insanity to me, and I've covered this a couple of times, but now we've gotten to the point where he's missed media day, and he's still not signed. We're like a week away, almost 2 weeks away from the start of the NBA season, and Russell freaking Westbrook still isn't signed to a team. So I'm going to play this clip, and I want to hear y'all thoughts about what you think.
That Russ can help right now.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
No, he can't help them, no.
I think he could.
They the champs.
Kaz, take your heart glasses off. The only way Russ goes back to OKC is to be ready to be on a coaching staff. That he should not go back as a player at all.
I'm staying 10 toes down with Kaz right here.
You cannot bring Russell Westbrook back to OKC and don't play him.
Exactly.
He cannot go from the greatest player in your franchise history to maybe playing or maybe not playing. It doesn't work. You diminish that man's legacy by that. Let's protect the legacies of these players. Not somebody who's been in the league 5 years, 6 years, who went. No, this is somebody who's put in pain, pressure, #1 jersey sales, MVP of the league.
You're making my point for me.
No, he's not, Kaz.
No, we're not. Let me finish with that. He cannot.
For all those reasons, OKC should be like, yes. The one thing he can add to his legacy is what? The ring.
Chasing the ring, though, now. It's a difference with chasing the ring, and I still got to enjoy this game. chasing the ring at this point in time. You can't send the greatest player back. He left and then come back and then he's not playing. No,
Yes.
and as a player, I know I still can play. No, hell no. Dame went back to Portland because Dame is going to come back healthy and play. CP went back to the Clippers because CP is going to play. He ain't go back to sit on the bench. He ain't go back, I'm going to just do my victory lap. No,
Russell Westbrook had an impact for the Denver Nuggets last year.
Because he played.
I think he plays.
If he's ready to say, yo, Sam Presti, I want to retire here. This is my last year. Let's do something for this year. Let's hang the jersey up. Let's build that up.
We building your MVP statue outside.
I'm cool with that. Let's celebrate. Let's make this celebratory for Russ. Going back to OKC. If you going back just to chill, nah, son.
Okay, so what are y'all thoughts? I'm curious to hear, what did you think about Carmelo Anthony and what he said about Russell Westbrook, that there's no way he's going to go back to OKC unless he was retiring. And he's like, there's no way he's going to end his legacy that way, just to go back and come off the bench. I mean, when he was on the Nuggets, he wasn't really starting. He was coming off the bench. But he also said he doesn't mind coming off the bench. He'll be a team player. And this isn't the first time we've seen Russ take one for the team. He did it again for the Clippers when they had that super team with Harden, Paul George, you feel me, Russ. I got to watch them play live, by the way. That was really cool. But he took one for the team, and he came off the bench. So I see what also see what Carmelo's saying. He had the #1 jersey sales. He was MVP of the league, triple-double machine, just like legacy after legacy. And you telling me that he's still on waivers? Something's not making sense. I don't think that they're blackballing him. I don't think that that's what's happening here. However, I was really relieved when Shams Chaminara dropped the bomb that he heard. And we all know sometimes Shams' word is bond. Shams is that guy who just seems to know what's finna happen. He mentioned that it's possible, and it's been a mutual interest expressed. Those were somewhat the words. I'm paraphrasing here. But there's a mutual interest between Russell Westbrook and the Kings. And I've been monitoring the rumor mill since August. And I had heard something about the Kings. So this isn't the first time I heard the Kings as an option for Russell Westbrook. But I was looking at the Kings roster, and I was trying to really figure out where would he fit in. And what the article insinuated from Shams is that they need someone who's going to shoot a 3. So I was like, what? So you want to call on Russell Westbrook? That doesn't even sound right. I know Russ can hit a 3 in the corner every once in a while. Maybe in transition, if he's catching it in motion. I don't know. Usually he's the one who's leading the transition. So he's usually the one with the ball. So if they're bringing him over to shoot 3s, that's where I was like, okay, this is definitely, they fibbing. But to bring him off the bench for the Sacramento Kings team, who's already being looked at as a bottom tier team, kind of gives me pause as to like, what the hell is going on? Like, I want to see some strategy in this, in this lack of moves. I want to see some goodness come from this. Not just, oh, thank God he's getting signed to a team, but like, hold on, you're getting signed to the Kings? Okay, point guard. We know Dennis Schroeder is on the Kings now, and he just came from the Pistons. He was on Miami. We see Schroeder move around down, you know what I mean? And he's been pretty consistent on how he shows up. So he's obviously probably going to be their starting point guard. And then you got DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Duh. That's simple. Then you have Sabonis and probably Keegan Murray. Malik Monk is still coming back. So I'm like, who's going to come off the bench? Maybe Malik Monk is going to come off that bench, but he had a really good season last year. And Keegan Murray, he was like, where was he at? So he might actually come off the bench and Malik Monk could start, but who knows? I don't know. They also acquired, they got Keon Ellis, but we all know Keon is more of a defensive presence. And maybe working with Schroeder, we can see him look, maybe Schroeder's going to do what Keon usually does, but maybe better. And then that might force Keon to do something else, because we've seen Keon score, but he's kind of like a Terrence Mann. But Terrence Mann, I think, is better than Keon. But Keon, I'm going down rabbit holes right now. They also got Doug McDermott. I don't know if that really matters. Isaac Jones. They got Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric. You know, Dario Saric came from the Nuggets. And before that, though, Dario Saric was on the Washington Wizards, and I thought he was really good. I thought he was really good for the Washington Wizards, and they used him, and he started for a while. And then when he got to Denver, I was excited, but then I was like, oh my God, like they didn't even use him. And I'm like, well, look at the system that they have. They don't really need him necessarily based on how they play. But now with this now with the Kings, and you got like Sabonis, I can see Dario Saric maybe playing a little bit more coming off the bench, especially since Jonas Valanciunas is no longer on the team. So all these moves and power plays, Russell Westbrook with the Kings kind of makes sense. If he does get signed, I would start Westbrook over Dennis Schroeder, personally, and then bring Schroeder off the bench with that second string with Malik Monk. Or even if you want to start Dennis because he has great defense presence, but so does Russ. You know, I think Dennis is a better defender, but still. This team doesn't strike me as the type of team. They had De'Aaron Fox, and we all know De'Aaron Fox like to push the tempo. So if you have Westbrook coming in and he's going to push the tempo and leave it off, that'd be cool. But he's just not as much as an offensive threat as De'Aaron was. But with this team, do you really need that? I mean, Zach LaVine is a threat. DeMar DeRozan is still an offensive threat. We know Sabonis can score. So, I mean, I see a lot of different moving pieces. This is looking more like a defensive-minded team, though. So if Russ does come, I don't believe it's going to be strictly for offense. Like, I mean, sure, but I don't know. But I do want to see him. I do want to see him get on a team. See, Money said he should go to Houston. They need help at the point with Fred out. I think with Houston, they are going to probably go with Amen. They're going to go with Amen. I don't think they're going to have a true point guard on that team. I think Amen and Reed Shepherd are going to carry a lot of that two-way guard weight where you don't necessarily see like a true point guard, you know, kind of similar to what the Pacers did. Like Andrew Nembhard was their point in a way, but it was really Tyrese Halliburton who averaged more assists for the team. So like I look at it kind of like that's what Houston's going to do. They're not going to have like a true point, and putting Russ on that team would be amazing because I would love to see him reunited with KD and Steven Adams. I mean, it would bring me back to the times where OKC was like my absolute favorite team to watch with Perkins and Steven and Westbrook, Harden off the bench. Like, oh, what a time. But I'm just saying, like, it would be cool to see them reunite. I don't know if they necessarily need it. Also, their cap space, I think they're maxed out. I don't think they have enough room to bring Westbrook over. But this Kings team could see value in signing Westbrook, considering how low they're ranked right now. Nobody is betting on the Kings to do anything this season, not even make the play-in. So, real possibility. Also, he would stay on the West Coast. So maybe that's what he wants to do. I know Russ is a family man. I'm thinking of all these things because I just want to see that man play. But all right. Again, from MVP of the league to misfit, what happened? Why is Russ still on waivers? Hopefully before the season starts, this man gets signed. Like, I'm not even kidding, y'all. Okay, let's move on. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and drop your take. That's the most important thing. I want to hear from you. If you know bull, you know ball. So let's keep going to the final. I wanted to make sure I saved enough time for this segment because I am launching my fantasy basketball series. And right now I'm still experimenting. And so if you've been with me from the beginning, you know I've been alluding to this, and now I'm finally launching it. Not sure if I'm going to be doing it live. We'll see like how the audience reacts to it. Before I went live today, I dropped a poll. So I want to go check that poll out really quickly. And I want to see what you all said for the poll. And if you want, go to like my community channel and then go to post. I actually can share the link for you in the chat. But I dropped a poll. Only got one vote so far. I just want to gauge my audience and see what you all think. Hold on. I want to gauge the audience and see what you all think about fantasy basketball. Are you a fantasy basketball fan? will you play fantasy basketball this year? Are you interested in some pro tips, fantasy at all? So I'm excited to talk with people who are already in my community about fantasy basketball, and then hopefully attracting people who are into fantasy basketball and seeking some tips, some help with their season. All right. So a little backstory. I started fantasy 2 years ago, and I am a 2-time fantasy basketball champion. And I won it my rookie year, and I won it my sophomore season in 2 different leagues. I also finished first in the regular season in 4 of the leagues I was in. So I was in 3 leagues last year, and I was in 2 leagues the year before. And I finished first in the regular season the first time for one of them last year. And then for this year, the year before, last year, I finished 2 out of the 3. I finished number 1 in a regular season. So I know what I'm talking about. It's safe to say. I know some, and I wanted to share with you all the mistakes that I made. I want to give you as much knowledge and as much help as possible. I want you to feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I can answer your questions. And I want to help you win your fantasy basketball league. If you're a pro and you haven't gotten a dub yet, maybe some adjustments we can make, or you're a rookie like I was 2 years ago, and you might be a little intimidated by the whole process, but you know ball, right? If you know bull, you know ball, and I can help you navigate maybe not make the same mistakes I did. But even despite these mistakes, I still got a dub. So let's talk about it. Okay, so 10 mistakes I made as a rookie fantasy manager. Okay, so again, this is my fantasy basketball series. I'm going to cover those 10 mistakes and kind of go in a little bit of detail about each mistake and give you some pro tips and things like that. So let's get into it. So mistake number 1. Reality does not always translate into fantasy. Okay? Reality does not always translate into fantasy. And what I mean by that is when you first join a fantasy basketball league, I get you may watch a lot of basketball. You may even know all the guys in the NBA. You got your favorites. You got the stars. You got the people that you know are going to play well. Here's the thing. In fantasy, it is not the same. Because there's a point system, there's categories, there's a way that you earn points through each player. And it becomes more than just who can dribble by somebody and who's always on everybody's TV screens. Fantasy basketball, if you start going on the NBA and you have a draft, right? And you're trying to pick which players to do not go and look at their stats and be like, oh, they average 10 points and 4 assists. Okay, that was kind of low for the NBA. They average 15 points and 5 assists. That doesn't necessarily mean they should be in your first round, second round, third round, not even your 6th round pick. Because fantasy basketball is way more than just the points and the assist. It's rebounds, it's steals, it's blocks, it's minutes. How many minutes does this person play a game? Because the longer they're out there, the more value they can add to your team. So one of the things that one of my buddies said from the league that I won last year, he said, Bree, I saw your team and I thought, what is she doing? She has a terrible team. Now, my team wasn't terrible, but he was like, what is this team? Because he picked Kyrie, Steph. He had some other good picks, but he was picking based on just like star people. And while you can do that and maybe have a successful team, the likelihood of you making it the entire season is low because those guys always get hurt. So when you look at your team, don't just it's not all about what's happening. Yes, it's based on the real games, real life. People get hurt. That impacts your roster, blah, blah, blah. The number one mistake anybody can make is thinking that this person is basketball good, which means they're automatically going to be fantasy good. That's not how it works. A person could be decent, not even make the top 50 list, and be a beast in fantasy as a player. So just keep that in mind. Again, number one mistake I made as a rookie fantasy manager was reality does not always translate into fantasy. All right. Let's keep going. Number 2, drafting with my heart and not my head. Okay, so this is going to happen. And it's okay if it does. Just don't let it consume you and be your entire team. Do not be emotionally tied to any of your picks. There's guys out there who have to get KD. They have to get Jalen Brunson. Like, it's like, I have to get my favorite player. And then in your efforts of trying to get that favorite player, you actually might miss out on building a solid roster. Now, I'm not saying your favorite player can't get it done or you don't want to have them, but just don't draft when you're making draft selections. Don't do it emotionally, especially like if you're a gambler. You know this. Don't gamble on a team that you love. Another buddy of mine, and I'm always going to speak from experience and tell you ended Oaks, but my one buddy is a diehard Ravens fan, and he's also a gambler. So when he gambles, he does not bet for the Ravens to win. He always does bet for them to lose because he's like, if they win, then I'm excited. But if they lose, then I make money and I'm still excited. So it's just like, that's how much emotions can affect anybody's decision making. I get, we're men, we're women, we're emotional beings. But when it comes to fantasy, you have to keep your emotions in check. Also, if you were nice last year, just be weary that if your heart is saying, oh my gosh, last year this player did good, just be weary that they might not do well in the following year. It changes every year. Teams, rosters change, coaches change, systems change, injuries, players, contracts, culture. There's so many moving pieces. So don't let your heart guide this. All right. So again, number 2, drafting with my heart, not my head. I did that a couple times. And most of the time it does not work out in your favor. All right. Number 3, ignoring positional balance. You're probably like, what the hell? What the heck does that mean, Bree? Positional balance. When you are doing a fantasy, especially the old format, because I know there's a new format, but I'm speaking directly to the old formats, whether you play in the Yahoo app or the ESPN app or whatever app you play in, it is important that you have a variety on your team. Don't just get all guards and think you're going to win, because guards who score, especially make a lot of threes and score a lot, you'll see those guys rack up a lot of points and assists too, because assists get you a lot of points. But you also have to consider the rebounds, the blocks, the steals. Okay? Rebounds and blocks. Who do you get those from the most? Centers, forwards. So in your roster spots, you're going to have like a point guard, a guard, maybe 2 forwards, a small forward, a center. There's going to be a position that you have to sub in for every time. Your goal is to make sure you pick up players that have more than one tag to them. Because if they just have one tag, then you might not have enough people to sub in. And I should create some visuals, which I will when I get into like the depth of like having your roster and other episodes. So I'll keep it as general as possible. But it's very important that you get at least 4 guards, at least 3 centers, at least 4 power forwards. I mean, if you have a 13-team roster, that's 13 people right there, if I did the math right. I'm just saying it's very important. And then people like Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, they have 3 different tags. They're labeled in the system as a small forward, a shooting guard, and I think a power forward or just a forward. They have 3 different positions just for one player. So try to get those players that are labeled as a small forward or a guard/forward. Even getting a center that's just a center is totally fine. But if you get a guard, maybe try getting someone with a guard tag that just has a G, because then you could put them in point guard or guard. But if you get someone with just a point guard tag, if you have all point guards on your team, you're cooked. You might be thinking, oh, every point guard, I got all the point guards, best point guards in the league. So what? You're only going to score in a few of the categories. You want to try to score. You want to get that player that can kind of evenly do it all, or mix it up where you got 3 players that rebound and block really well. And then you got 3 players who are going to score you a lot of points every time. So it's an art to it. But again, my number 3 tip is ignoring positional balance. Make sure your team is balanced. Oops. Okay. So moving on. Again, we're doing 10 mistakes I made as a rookie fantasy manager. And again, I am a 2-time fantasy basketball champion, and I've only been doing it for 2 years. This will be year 3 for me. So I won a championship in my rookie season against prideful, smart men who were talking crap, and I was the only female in the league, and I ended up winning. Okay? This is how I did it. So, number 4, panicking after one bad week. Oh my gosh. Okay. Panicking after one bad week. Don't panic. This is a long game. If you're a person, I get it. We live in a world of convenience. We have short attention spans. We might be in and out of relationships. We might not even been in a long-term relationship in a while, so we don't really know how to invest. Fantasy basketball is an investment. It starts in October and it ends in March. Depending on how your commissioner sets it, it ends just before playoffs, y'all. So you're going for a very long time. And it's every day. You're setting your lineups every day. It's months and months and months. So yeah, you might start off with your team and they might start doing bad. You're not winning a couple weeks in a row. And you start thinking, oh my gosh, I need to trade this person. I need to drop this person. I would just say, don't ever panic, because it's a flux. It's a roller coaster. Yes, there are some people who are just trash at the game and they pick the worst team ever. But there are times when you actually have a solid team and you just got to give them time. My first year was Wemby's rookie season, and I did get first round pick, and it was a snake draft. So I ended up getting Joker. I picked him first round, first pick. Then in the second round, I took a chance and I got Wemby. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. So I had Joker and Wemby. In maybe the first week or 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God, I should never have picked up Wemby. He was trash to start off. I'm telling you. If y'all go back to his regular season, they wasn't passing him the ball because they didn't know how to lob it to him. Like, I was like, oh my God, I regret picking up Wemby. I should have never did it. But by week 5, week 6, him and Joker was giving me at least 100 points a night if they both was playing. Because Wemby was getting 5 blocks, and a block is worth 5 points. If he gets 5 of them, that's 25 points just for one. It was nasty to have Joker and Wemby on my team at once, but I just needed to give Wemby some time. And that's all. That's the point I'm trying to make. All right. So when you are having a bad week, do not panic. All right. Just keep watching and making smart decisions and really watching this player. Are they making gradual improvements? Is the coach playing them more? Does the coach have faith in them, or are they changing the system and shying away? You feel what I'm saying? So just be patient with your lineup and don't panic. All right. 10 mistakes I made as a rookie fantasy manager. Let's go to mistake number 5. One rookie mistake I made was I settled for the first trade offer. So, I do want to give a quick little disclaimer. You don't want to settle for the first trade offer, especially if you're a rookie, especially with the vets, because unfortunately, depending on the people you play with and you know is in your circle, I'm from Baltimore, and that should just say, like, I play with people, yeah, they're going to be helpful, but in my instance, because I was a female, and this will happen if you're a rookie and the vets get a sense that you have no idea what you're talking about, there's a high chance that they're going to try and take advantage of your lack of knowledge in the space, okay? They're going to take advantage of a rookie just like any other rookie gets taken advantage of, right? So I had Wendell Carter Jr. on my team, and he had Zach Collins. And this was 2 years ago. So Wendell Carter Jr. was looking good on Orlando. He had a good season the year before. They thought he was going to be a breakout this year. And then he had Zach Collins, who played on the Spurs. Okay. And Wemby just got on the team, like I said. So, but one thing I was doing was because I had Wemby on the other league. So in this league, I was looking and I was like, I've been watching a lot. And I noticed when Wemby's out, they play Zach Collins. He was like their go-to center when Wemby was out. So I was like, I feel like Zach Collins is actually going to be useful for the Spurs this year. So I put in a trade request for Zach Collins and for him to have Wendell Carter Jr. Why maybe after we did the trade, because Zach Collins was killing it. He was doing so good. And Wendell Carter Jr. got hurt and he wasn't even playing anymore. And the guy I did the trade with reached out in the group chat, and he said, I thought I was getting one over on Bree. Turns out she got one over on me. So I tell you this story, and I say all that to say, do not settle for the first trade offer. Don't. Because you want to make sure you pull out a trade analysis. Just Google fantasy trade analyzer, and you want to see like who's worth what. Because I didn't do that. I just was going off of what I was watching on the screen. But if I'm more serious about this game and I've gotten more experience, I'm like, wait, I can't just be looking at trades willy-nilly and accepting or declining. Don't just decline it either. Go back to them and say, hey, let's do something different. What you think about this? Like, it's real life. It gets serious. It gets pretty serious. So you want to have those conversations. But you see a trade and maybe they try to get you and they're like, well, they might think you don't know any better. So as a rookie, you might not know any better. But my best advice to you for a trade is don't settle for the first trade, even for the ones you make yourself. All right? Okay. So, again, 10 mistakes I made as a rookie fantasy manager. Number 6, sleeping on bench players. This is probably, I didn't put this in any particular order, but this is probably one of the most important tips that you could walk away from in this whole entire live stream. Okay. Sleeping on a bench player is the biggest regret. This is a pro tip. Like, tune your ears in. If you haven't been listening to anything, you need to pay attention to this, because this is why I said NBA preseason is important. All these big stars, you look at every team on the NBA and you look at their big stars, the guys that have been all-stars, superstars, the ones that have breakout seasons. We all know that. But what you need to look at is who comes in for those guys when they're hurt. Who are the people that are going to play when those superstars go down? There hasn't been an NBA season since I've been in fantasy and since y'all have seen where any superstar, it's like everybody ends up getting hurt. So you need to find those guys who are going to step in and step up, and those need to be your sleepers. Like, those are the people that you pick in the 10th round of the draft. So be paying attention, because, or even on waivers, they're going to get left on waivers, right? So make sure you're making note, especially with the guys on your team, on other teams. For example, let me think of a good last year sleeper, somebody who played a lot because, perfect example, Zion Williams. He came back for a little bit on New Orleans Pelicans, then he went down, right? Also, DeJounte Murray. So who was left on waivers? I immediately go to waivers. Make sure you're paying attention. I go to waivers. CJ McCollum's still on waivers, and Misi, their center, is still on waivers. So what do? I pick up Misi. I pick up CJ. So if you see a center, a guard, a forward go down on a team and they're the starter, you immediately go to waivers and you go to check to see if any of their second up, third string people are on waivers and consider grabbing them. Do not sleep on bench players, because they'll come in, and Misi, CJ McCollum ended up having to play like damn near the rest of the season, and they gave me a lot of points. They held me down. I'm trying to think of another example of someone who got hurt. Jaden Ivey went down. So then Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, they got traded. You feel what I'm saying? Then Detroit, they needed shooters. They needed guards. Now, do not pick up Tim Hardaway or Malik Beasley. I'm getting a little off base here, but don't pick them up. Anyway, I'm trying to think. What's one more example I can give to y'all about not sleeping on bench players? I guess we could talk about the Portland Trailblazers. Someone like Delon Batum. He's a guy that is a bench player. I don't want to do him. Oh, let's do the Memphis Grizzlies when Vince Carter Jr. went down. No. Ixnay. Let's do Cleveland Cavaliers when Ty Jerome had to play. He was a bench player, and here he comes putting up big numbers. So, again, sleeping on bench players is a no-no. Okay, let's go to number 7. Not planning for late season rest. What do I mean by that? As a rookie fantasy manager, I could have walked away with 2 championships in my first rookie season, but what I did and didn't understand or think about was in playoffs, like the fantasy playoffs, you're going to be playing players or having to navigate all the big stars possibly taking rest before they go into playoffs, especially for the really good teams who made the playoffs. And what you're going to notice is a lot of guys, especially in that final week, they start going down. And you're like, damn, I got like 5 people on IRs. What am I going to do? You see what I'm saying? So it's very important that you take into consideration the late season pushes that you're going to have to make and adjustments that you're going to have to make when those superstars or the number one guys on the team are taking their rest. It's inevitable. Just prepare for it. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. Don't get frustrated because Bull told you to be ready. Be ready for that. All right. 10 mistakes I made as a rookie fantasy manager. Number 8. Only operating out of one fantasy app. So, my rookie year, when I won the one championship, I was in 2 leagues, and we were only in the ESPN app. It wasn't until I got to my second year and I started, getting a little respect around the fantasy streets, I got invited to other leagues. And one of the leagues I got invited to was on the Yahoo app. And in the Yahoo app, you get a lot more information on players. Like they have a whole forum. You could click on a player and then click on a discussion tab and you could see a whole discussion thread about like what other people think of the players. And you don't have to take what everybody else says as important, but I'm just saying they had different updates than the ESPN app. And that kind of got me thinking going into my third year of fantasy that I'm going to be having a lot more information to pull from and read when I make my decisions throughout the season. So if you're on a league, I just suggest that maybe get the fantasy app, get the Yahoo fantasy app. If you're on ESPN, then get the Yahoo. If you're on Yahoo, get ESPN. Have both. And whichever app you're not operating out of for like the real league, then go on the other league app and make a mock draft. And then try to get the same players or just look up players in some type of capacity. Just join a league and then you can see any player you want so that you can just get all your news and information because ESPN and Yahoo are going to give you different news things. Sometimes one's quicker on injuries than the other. Use your betting app because sometimes you're like a player, it says DTD or GTD, game time decision or day to day, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to make a decision. Do I bench them or do they play? Like, I don't know. Are they going to play tonight? And you can start going on all your apps. Go on the betting app. See if their line is available. Most likely they're playing if they're on the betting line. So there's a lot of different ways that you can make these decisions, but don't just operate out of one fantasy app. Have multiple apps at your disposal so that you can just pull different information about players because every single site is going to give you different information. The same, but different. All right. Okay, we're almost done with our list. So 10 mistakes I made as a fantasy basketball manager in my rookie season. Number 9. Not reading the rules or asking vets questions. Now, I mentioned earlier how a veteran, I'm not saying they don't have your best interest at heart. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying they are your competition at the end of the day. All right. So take asking the vets with a grain of salt because some of them will be forthcoming with information and some of them maybe not so much. I'm a veteran at this point. Well, I'm about to be in my second year pro. So rookie, first year pro, second year pro, third year. Am I a vet yet? I don't know. I am a champion. But still, make sure you're reading the rules. Like as soon as the commissioner invites you into their league, before you even have the draft, what I mean by reading the rules is, do they close sets off? Like, can you set your lineup at a certain time? Like, or, when is that cut off? Or read when the season ends. Read what each point category matters. Because I was in one league where you don't get any penalties for turnovers. Then I was in another league where you get a penalty, you lose a point for a turnover, and you lose points if they miss free throws. And then in another league, you get 5 points from a block. And in another league, you get 10 points from a double-double. Like, you just got to make sure you know what points you get so you can make the right decision on players. Because you don't want to get a player who turns the ball over a lot in a league that counts turnovers against you. But if not, go ahead, pick up LaMelo Ball. Go ahead. If they're not counting turnovers, by all means, pick him up. Matter of fact, pick up what's your name? He was on the Kings and now he's on the Heat. Oh my gosh. He's kind of short. He turns the ball over a lot. Go ahead, pick him up. I can't remember his name at the moment. Anyway, but the point I'm trying to make is make sure you're reading the rules. Make sure you screenshot it too, because I'm not saying commissioners are grimy, but you want to make sure the commissioners aren't making any changes. So whatever is the rules when at the time of the draft should be the rules the entire season, unless y'all got together and y'all made a vote. So just be mindful. All right. I don't know what type of people you deal with, but I'm just saying you don't want to get duped. All right. Sometimes these leagues got money on the line. Sometimes, yeah, it's bragging rights, but at the end of the day, don't be like the people who sign contracts and don't read the fine print. Make sure you're reading the fine print. It's very important. Again, not reading the rules or asking vets questions. You want to make sure that you're asking questions. It's crucial that you ask people how to do certain things, or you're going to shoot yourself in the foot and then you're going to want to give up because you're like, oh, well, I already messed up, blah, blah, blah. My hopes are up. Then it's going to you're going to be no fun. It's no fun playing with another person who's not even playing. So anyway, okay. And my final my final mistake that I made as a rookie fantasy manager, and I even made it again my sophomore year. So I'm not saying my second year, I'm not saying that this is an easy mistake to overcome because it happens to me often. Okay. But forgetting this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be fun. And me, I'm very competitive. I love basketball and I love to win. And once you've already won, it's like, it takes work to get up there, but it takes work to stay. So I know people are gunning for me. It's happened. Like we're not letting you win this year type time. So I'll be watching basketball and I'll get so frustrated because I'm like, bro, I need you to do this because I'm like, I need you, same thing with betting. I'm like, I need to win this week, bro. And you're not even showing up. And then you start getting angry and upset. You don't even want to watch the game no more. You don't even want to play no more. I remember one time, this is my last story of the night. I remember one time I was so frustrated. I typed in the group chat. I said, man, I quit. I'm not doing this no more. And somebody said, Bree, you for real? And I said, I'm DTD. Oh my gosh. It was just, but yes. Just make sure you're having fun. Because if you really love basketball, and I love basketball very much, this space is a lot because you're doing a lot of work day in and day out, watching the waiver wires. If you're really serious about getting a dub, you really got to put that work in. It's not just going to be some easy thing. I've seen it every year. There's the guys, you could tell the guys who care, and you could tell the guys who don't give a damn. And the guys who really care, who really are playing, they're the ones who end up winning. So just make sure you're having fun, though. At the end of the day, make sure you're having fun. Whew. Okay, so again, that was my 10 mistakes I made as a rookie fantasy manager. And I don't want you to make those same mistakes. But if you do, it's okay. It's your journey. I hope you win your league. Like I said, I made all of those mistakes and I still won. But if going in my second year, I didn't make any of those mistakes. I just felt way more confident, feeling good, made great decisions. And it's only up from here. And it's only up from here for you too. So I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the fantasy basketball series that I put forth. But I also had other things that I was discussing throughout. So I will be uploading different videos, and I just look forward to your thoughts on fantasy. I'm going to check the chat real quick. We had Move Peace in the chat. Clayton Mills said, salute, Brianna. Much, much respect and love to you and your show. It's very kind. Thank you. Move Peace said was goody. See Money 007 definitely been in the chat. Really appreciate your support. When did you start watching and fell in love with basketball / NBA basketball? I was like 5 years old. And this is before I knew that the WNBA even existed. Like, people around me didn't talk about it. I was like, I'll be the first woman in the NBA. Like, I had no idea there was WNBA. But I've loved basketball since I could remember. And basketball taught me how to love. So it's given a lot to me. And I want to continue to give back. This is my give back. Celebrating it. So yeah. I appreciate y'all tuning in. It's been a really fun show. Talking the fantasy basketball kind of got me riled up. I'm very much looking forward to it. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like, subscribe. I appreciate y'all, and I will catch you next time. Take care.